Hi, this is JP. Welcome to video 2 of 6 of my depression wellness class trading video with the coloring workbook. So this one's got several different things in it. Here's what we're going to learn. We're going to learn what behavior activation is and how to do it. This is what I learned from one of the supervisors I had in San Diego, Lynn Northrup. What a fulcrum is and how it relates to the spiral of depression. We're also going to take a look at the book, The Upward Spiral, using neuroscience to reverse the course of depression, one small change at a time. We're going to look at what wellness is in general. Since we're talking about wellness, I wanted a good definition in there. And then we're going to look at our strengths, how to strengthen them, and that comes from both positive psychology, which is an actual branch in psychology, and the recovery model, which is being used in mental health. And then learn some sleep hygiene from a psychiatrist. So here we go. First, I started off with a little picture to color and relax as we go into the new section. And this is what I learned from my supervisor as far as behavioral activation. The first part of this is it's kind of like a sheet of notes. But the first part talks about graph it. So you might want to use a calendar and keep track of your moods, and also keep track of the positive activities you do and see how your moods, go up and down, so you have an idea of what your progress looks like. Now, to shift the balance from unpleasant, stressful, mood-reducing experiences versus having more pleasant, mood-elevating experiences is what shifts the balance. We want to add weight to one side, remove weight from the other side, and then you shift the fulcrum. So let's look at the fulcrum. That's if you remember from science. So we're adding all these negative experiences here on the depression side, so we go down into depression. And we're not really adding anything on the positive side because you don't feel like it when you're depressed. So the theory of behavior activation is to increase positive experiences that create a positive mood for you, and then this will start to go down and the depression will start to lift, and we'll start to get a little bit more of a balance. Again, if you keep track of your moods on a calendar and keep track of the days that you do more positive activities, you'll start to see progress, which is inherently motivating to continue on with the progress. And then the downward spiral of depression is basically you feel bad, so you do less, so you feel worse, so you do even less, and you feel even worse, etc. And it goes downward spiral of depression. So we want to interrupt this. It's not as easy as it sounds. It does take some effort and some support and some tools, but it can be reversed. Now, I got a lot of this information also from this book here called The Upward Spiral, using neuroscience to reverse the course of depression, one small change at a time. And this book, it basically talks about the basic things: getting good rest, good healthy food, meaningful experiences, sunshine in nature, doing positive things, getting some exercise, really basic stuff. There's no secret thing in here. It's just the doing one little small change at a time to start going upwards and getting out of depression. So that's basically the theory and the motivation to go ahead and try practicing, increasing your wellness. All right, so the next thing and you can download this and print it out, but this was a little wellness brochure I've had for years. I got it from Blue Cross, probably in their health and prevention, or somewhere I picked it up. But what I really liked about it was that it talks about wellness being more of a path with a lot of different components to it. So there's social support, there's nutrition, there's health, there's social support. It's more of a journey that you walk down a path, not just an end goal. And you kind of map out your own strategy. And so it talks about physical, social, and mind-body wellness. And it's just a nice little brochure that talks about what wellness is. Then another nice little coloring page to let all that sink in and think it over. And this is something I have in my office on the wall. Every time I see one of my clients, I ask them what their strengths are. And that's usually the question where I get a lot of silence and blank stares and, I don't know, and they don't even know what I'm talking about. So I point to this on the wall and I say, well, why don't you look through that list and pick a couple things that describe your natural character traits or personality traits, and they start to find some. So what I suggest is you take this sheet and you circle all of your strengths and then put it up on the wall somewhere so you remind yourself of your strengths. And that helps counteract all the negative self-talk that goes on in depression. With depression, you're basically kind of fighting your own mind and dealing with a strong inner critic. And the only way to fight it is to, counteract it with telling more of the truth. Instead of just listening to the negative stuff about yourself, you want to say, okay, that's my depression talking, but what about my strengths? I'm this and that and this and that, and then you go over your strengths. And that is from positive psychology, which has been shown to help self-esteem increase. All right, and then a good sleep hygiene handout for people who have problems with insomnia or sleep. I got this from a psychiatrist. And, a lot of people go straight to the doctor and want a pill for sleep. And this particular one would give out a handout first and try to do some self-help managing around sleep, or like a nighttime routine to help with sleep. And the more healthy, restorative sleep you get, the better your depression gets, or I should say your wellness increases and your depression starts to decrease when you get some good sleep. Sometimes when you're depressed, you actually sleep too much, or you have a hard time getting to sleep. So this little routine will help with that. I'm not saying it's going to cure it overnight, but it definitely will help. And then I wanted to end this section with a little bit of dark humor. There's a lot of people in depression who have a lot of built-up anger. We talk about depression and being sad, but there's also anger outbursts, irritable moods, irritability. And so, if not doing wellness for yourself, do it for those around you that can pick up your negative vibes and your anger and unhappiness and discontent, especially family members. And, we have to sort of process some of the grief and pain and anger to get through it sometimes. And actually, coloring does help. It's a very mindful thing to do. It's very meditative, and you can just color, or you can color while thinking about something on purpose, or you can just color and relax and have fun. Either way. So, color rather than lashing out, basically. So that's it for part 2 of 6. I'm going to move on now to the 3rd video. I'll see you on that one. I hope you got a lot out of this. And remember, you can print it out and put it all together and start working on your Depression Wellness Coloring Workbook. See you on the next video.